What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Okay, man. So the reports are coming out about who exactly is going to be signed to this new DAZN app. That in the partnership between DAZN and Matchroom Boxing, and it's an interesting group of people, and one where I would say that I'm not going to be buying DAZN for this level of boxer. I don't care if it's $10 a month. I don't care if it's $5 a month. The guys that are named that have been rumored, and Michael Benson out of the UK on Twitter. Shout out to my man Cornerman Radio for sending me those texts, and also just the general list of people that have been talked about, and for having being about to sign with DAZN or having already signed for DAZN and waiting for this announcement to come out. I mean, as far, this isn't going to take over the U.S. boxing. This is right along. This puts Eddie Hearn, as far as U.S. promoters go, maybe right around Kathy Duva, I would think. Maybe a notch below Kathy Duva with main events, because I think main events has at least Sergey Kovalev. I don't see anybody on this here that is even on the level of a Sergey Kovalev. You have number one, you have Maurice Hooker, the 140-pound champion. Maurice Hooker is probably not going to make it past one defense of the 140-pound belt if he gets in there with any of the other champions. You have Demetrius Andrade, who I think is probably his best sign. If it winds up being Demetrius Andrade that gets signed, I think that's about his best one. But, of course, Demetrius Andrade is not the most popular. He's got a pretty decent fan base out east from what I can tell, as far as doing videos about him and having people voice support for him. In this kind of, battle between what happened between the Charlos and the Charlos and Demetrius Andrade, or what I like to consider what I consider to be kind of an east-south split in the middleweight division between the Charlo brothers and then Danny Jacobs and Demetrius Andrade, now Danny Jacobs is signed with Matchroom, but he fights on HBO, and Demetrius Andrade, if it's true that he signs with DAZN, he would have two decent, he'd have one good and two good middleweights. But then you have a fake paper champion, in no fault of his own that this cat's a paper champion, but he's a paper champ. Daniel Roman, the WBA super bantamweight title holder, who just beat Maurice Flores for a vacant belt that should, by any reasonable, if the world was just and fair, would still belong to Guillermo Rigondeaux. So I can't credit Daniel Romain for that belt, because he should have had to beat Guillermo Rigondeaux for it. But the WBA, being the WBA, chose to do what they did, which was just an absolutely ridiculous judgment, and strip Guillermo Rigondeaux of that title, that WBA 122-pound title, even though he lost to Vasily Lomachenko at 100, at two weight classes above it at 130. Then my understanding is Gabe Rosado. That is the best. I've heard Gabriel Rosado. I don't know if that's the case or not, but of course, Gabe Rosado is he's somebody to be out there, a good candidate to get knocked out by anybody at either 168, to give you a good rugged fight at 160 or 168 pounds. But, somebody that is a gatekeeper at best. And, but he is good for a good, bloodbath. Depending on who he fights, man, it's guaranteed to be some goriness out there. And then the last one that I've heard a rumored signing specifically to DAZN would be Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he had his moment in the sun. He had his moment in the sun when he managed to hurt Sergio Martinez in when he fought for the 160-pound division for the 160-pound championship. Excuse me, for the 100, the middleweight championship. And, but Sergio Martinez managed to, carry his way through that fight, but it was a one-sided fight. And then he wound up being a punching bag. The last time I can remember seeing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he was being a punching bag for Canelo Alvarez. Got a lot of money to be a punching bag, but punching bag nonetheless. I personally believe that Canelo Alvarez carried him. So it is what it is. But he is out there to be able to be beat up by either Demetrius Andrade, by Demetrius Andrade, I suppose, or, get in there and, have a bloody who really cares battle with Gabe Rosado. And then, of course, there is what I think is probably going to be the biggest bait for people to sign up for the DAZN app, at least on the Matchroom side of it, which is Alexander Povetkin versus Anthony Joshua. Now, I am not going to be buying DAZN, although I must say, just out of the, some people might not have the same viewpoint that I do on it. Personally, I just can't. I can't put any money in the pocket of Eddie Hearn. All this drama that went around with Deontay Wilder and trying to tear down Deontay Wilder's name, all this fake nonsense negotiation that took up a lot of people's time, and took up a lot of people's interest. Because quite honestly, man, boxing is a funny deal, man. If the hot topic that people are talking about is the hot topic, but if that topic goes away, a next topic will come up, and it's a good. There'll be another good back and forth going on, about another fight. Maybe it's Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, or now it could be what's going on between Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford, and Manny Pacquiao and Vasily Lomachenko. Those type of conversations can be had. But when you ball hog the spotlight of the boxing world with some nonsense was never going to happen and was apparent from the negotiation from the start all the way through the end, that kind of makes me feel like, look, man, you're pimping me, okay? And I can't support that. I can't support Eddie Hearn or Matchroom Boxing's success while they try to stretch out and milk boxing fans in the most important fight in boxing right now, which is the unification of the heavyweight championship. So for me, I can't support DAZN. And I can't support DAZN because of Matchroom Boxing. That's just how I roll. I have an HBO subscription, and I have an HBO subscription because of Game of Thrones, because of Veep, because of all those other things that they offer me. That's why I have it. But when it comes to watching HBO boxing, I will stream it because my TV will be off for that bit of time where it's on, because I do want my number to count. And I can't co-sign the type of nonsense that went over there on HBO with the one-sided representation of the Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev situation. Also, the fact that they never say anything about the crazy stuff that Abel Sanchez says. They push, this phony record for Gennady Golovkin in the 20 title defenses at middleweight, even though they were regular titles, not super titles of the WBC. So he really has more like 9 title defenses. But it is what it is. And that's why I'm not going to be supporting DAZN. I wish, honestly, that the World Boxing Super Series, it's unfortunate that they signed for the next year of World Boxing Super Series, because I would have loved to have seen that on DAZN. I'm going to see it now. I'm going to see it. This is not a captive audience type of thing. I can see the bouts. And if I want to watch Alexander Povetkin and Anthony Joshua, I can see that too. And I don't have to pay anything for it. Except for, I might have to sign up, take a couple seconds to sign up for, a free gambling site or something like that. But other than that, I'll join the massive amounts of people that are going to stream it. Because, like I said, this say, hey, I'm not going to knock your hustle, but you're not going to hustle me. Okay, if you got a bunch of people in the UK excited and are willing to buy anything that you sell them, hey, I understand that. You trying to sell it, you're trying to sit over there, count your money, make as much money as you can with as much little risk as you possibly can, you can do it with. That's what you're going to do. Cool, you do it. I don't knock your hustle, but you're not hustling me. I'm not paying for it. And I'm going to call out, and since I got a boxing channel, I'm going to call out for that. Now, as far as this DAZN thing, I can't put my money in your pocket. I didn't miss, last year, I didn't miss any of the World Boxing Super Series bouts. And I doubt very much for next year that I'll be missing any of those either. I'm not going to miss the Alexander Povetkin Anthony Joshua fight. I'm just not going to pay for it. And there you go, Eddie. That's what it's going to be. All right. Fix the internet problem or whatever. Hey, and try to make it closed caption, do something like that. I can't help you. It's going to be what it is. So anyway, that's my take on DAZN. You know, this is not, you know, when you have that type of money, if you got like $1 million a card on $1 million a card, I think it is what, $125 million a year for 2 years. And at $125 million a card, if that was going to purpose for 16 fights, man, that's oh, I'm sorry, you got to divide that in half. Really, you got to divide that in half because it's half of it is for the US, half of it is for the UK. So half of that 125 is, you know, God dog, 63 million, right? So 63 million in the UK, US for 16 cards, you know, something, it works out to somewhere around $1.5 million a card. I would think you should be able to get guys like Demetrius Andrade. And, oh, the other one, of course, is, I'm sorry, the last one that they have is Jesse Vargas is rumored to be on there. So you add Jesse Vargas to that match, that's somebody else. It's like, you know, I would believe that Jesse Vargas would sign with him. Jesse Vargas signs. I think Jesse Vargas has worked with every promoter in America at some point in time in his career. He jumps from one to the next, and that's cool. You know, he couldn't beat Adrian Bronner. It looks like the Adrian Bronner rematch is going to be off if he does that, because that's going to be on DAZN. But, you know, if they're doing 2-3 fights with these guys, you know, they can make some money. Cool. I don't besmirch Maurice Hooker. I don't besmirch Andrade. Well, Andrade I do because he's ducking a major championship fight in order to do it. Danny Roman, you know, whatever. Gabriel Rosado, you know, get your money, man. Julio Cesar Chavez, you know, hey, get your money, man, because, you know, you ain't getting no belt, so you might as well get that money. Same thing for Jesse Vargas. But, you know, as far as those type of fighters making DAZN something, you know, where it's an attractive package to buy, when I already have ESPN Plus, I already have Showtime, I already have HBO, you know, it's just not worth it for me. So anyway, now we'll see what the official announcement is as far as who the fighters who's going to sign with them will be. But so far, those are the names that have come out: Maurice Hooker, Demetrius Andrade, Daniel Roman, Gabe Rosado, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and Jesse Vargas. Now, some of those may be right. Some of them may not be right. There might be some people that sign that you know, aren't on this list, you know, for Eddie Hearn's sake. Well, no, I'm not even going to say that. Eddie Hearn is hoping that, you know, there's somebody better on that, but definitely not gotten any type of Mikey Garcia's, Keith Thurman's, unless Keith Thurman pops out of the woodwork on it. Danny Garcia, Errol Spence's, even Adrian Bronner's. Definitely didn't get Deontay Wilder or anything like that on it. So we'll see what it is, man. And it is what it is. I ain't getting DAZN. Anyway, with that, I'm out. Peace.